right. Hello and welcome back to Full-Time Grievers. Hi, Selysa. Glad you're here.
Hey, Nathan. Good to be with you here today.
This week we're doing another installment of our guided grief journaling series. The first one of these was on episode 18, and that one was for emotional processing. This one is continuing part of our guided grief journaling series. Will be installment number 2, and today we're going to be looking at journal prompts that can support us or that we can work with, particularly during acute grief. Not the only time, and if these appeal to you at some other time, feel free to use them anytime. But we're thinking of especially our acute grievers out there, especially within that first year of grief when it can be really, the volume can be quite high. There can be a lot of shock, disbelief, anxiety, overwhelming sadness, even some survival reactivity, as we've just described before. Anything else you want to mention about the context for this episode, Selysa?
Yeah, I just want to say to people to really exercise self-compassion and to really put down the inner critic, because it might be very likely that someone is shoulding on themselves.
Mm,
For example, if they are 12 or 13 or 14 months out, but they still feel that they're in this acute grief process, that's
yeah.
perfectly fine and valid. And in my house, we have this saying, don't should on me. So if someone says, oh, you should do this, it's like, no, actually, I should be doing exactly what I want to be doing. So in no way are we trying to should on you. And I would encourage every listener to really call in some compassion for wherever they are. And if they're way past this phase and it's only been 3 months, that's also your process and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then there can be some guilt around not grieving right.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We want to make the room without sort of like making any pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were supporting folks in the previous guided grief journaling episode to like use that journaling as a way to process through emotion. In this case, we're going to be looking at some different kinds of prompts that are about processing some of the thoughts that come up for us, or some of the things we just notice in our processing as we're going through the grief. And there's lots of different kinds of journal prompts that you can use, lots of different things that you can write about in your grief processing. And this is just an example of some of the ones that we have available for you at this time.
So you're welcome to listen to this episode all the way through from start to finish and answer all of the questions. Or if you're like, nah, that's not the question I need right now, just keep listening and we'll get to the next one. So this is a pause and play episode. So if you like it
That's
and
right.
you want to respond to it, pause. And then you take as much time as you need. And if you don't, if it doesn't resonate with you, just keep playing until you get to the one that does.
Love that permission. Yeah. Such a beautiful way to just interact with the episode itself.
Mhm.
Okay. So what's the first one we have?
The first one we have is to write down the story of your loss. So that can look like the events that happened leading up to the passing of the person, or that can look like the last experience you had with the person, regardless of if you were involved in their dying or not. Or that can look like kind of the overarching themes of the full relationship from start to end, however fits you best.
Yeah. So what's the story of your loss? Okay, so moving on to the next one. Hopefully, you had an opportunity to pause and write whatever you needed to there. And the next one we want to invite you to consider are things you need. And this could be like things that you need for your physical body, especially right now, or to take care of yourself, things you need help with, things you could use support getting or taking care of or checking off your list, things you might need to support you in your grieving. What are some things that you need?
Maybe we can give some examples of things we have often needed to get people's minds rolling because sometimes it's
Good one.
hard to know what you need when you're
Yeah.
grieving.
I'm thinking of especially in acute grief, time was something I really needed. Just time to like move at the pace that was happening for me and to figure out what was going on and to do the grieving that needed to be done. I definitely think time was a big need I had.
I needed I continue to need, I always need lots of physical contact, lots of
Yeah.
hugs and pets and
Yeah.
co-regulation with another person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Space, support, more tissues, or something else softer like a hanky. I got a whole bunch of hankies at one point just because it was just so much softer on my face, and I was needing them that much. Like time with a friend or like a regular call with a friend. You've mentioned in one of our episodes before how you had a friend who set a boundary for you at one point. Was like, you can call me once a week. Like, we will have like this date, but like if that's something that you need, like regular chats with a friend or regular check-ins with someone, that can be an important thing to put down here.
Time in nature,
Oh yeah.
that can be another very powerful need to fulfill.
Hmm. And two, in acute grief, like some of us have a need for like the reminders of our loved one. Like we need, some of us collect things or we're going through things and we're like pulling things out that we want to hold on to. If that, if that's one of the things we need, we can put that on the list too.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else you need, make sure to jot that down. And just at this time, you'll definitely be having an opportunity to do this again at another time. You can pause us here if you need more time to write.
So, our next one is things that you don't want or need right now.
Hmm.
Nathan, what are some things that you didn't want or need in acute grief?
Well, I don't know if I would have been able to actually say this to anyone, but it was important for me to know for myself. I don't need platitudes. I don't need the like, they're in a better place, or they wouldn't want you to feel better. I mean, they wouldn't want you to be so upset, or, I hope this brings you closure. That some people really do need those kind of support things. I really didn't want them.
Mhm. Yeah, me too. I really didn't need other people pushing their spiritual, religious cosmology beliefs on me in my grief in an
Good one.
attempt to comfort me. That's kind of similar to platitudes,
Hmm.
but it's more specific. Yeah, it's a specific genre of platitudes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a challenge for a lot of folks supporting grievers too, because we want to be of comfort. And so
Mhm,
we'll say to them the thing that we think, might be of comfort to us or would be helpful to us if we were in that situation. But that can be a thing that people don't need. So if
mhm.
that's on your list, make sure to put that down. What else? Things you don't need. Oh, like, more things on my to-do list or more responsibilities at this time.
Don't need that. Nope. Put it all down.
It can even get to some, sort of mindset things like you don't need to give yourself a hard time. That could be on your list, right? I don't
Mhm,
need to worry about so and so, or I don't need to, you know, criticize myself for grieving, or like that can be on this part of the list too.
mhm.
All right. The next opportunity here is things you hate now that they're gone. And many of us try to resist giving into hate, which I'm fine if that's not a place you want to go very often. And certainly in our actions, we want to, come from a place of love as much as we can. Most of us do anyway. But giving ourselves room to name the things that we hate, at least right now, because of what we're going through or because our loved one is gone, can be such a useful and powerful process. So if you
Mhm.
need permission, please take permission from us to go ahead and do this one. If you or give the permission to yourself, whichever is more useful for you. But this can be a really powerful one to spend some time with.
I'm trying to think of things that I hate when I'm in acute grief, or now that they're gone during acute grief.
Yeah. For me, it was people that were unhealthy. It was just like for a
Mm.
while, like anyone I saw that like, I don't know, or people that were I would see, on a Saturday morning outside the bar, I would I would I would feel like some real resentment that those people still got to
Mhm.
be here, and so I went on my list.
Mhm.
Even though, I have so much compassion for them, I, like, want the best for them, I wouldn't wish any ill will on them at all, but I got to put them on that list at that time because it was a way for me to work with what was coming up for me.
Mhm.
Old people too, our elders, the people that we should
That
admire.
that is one thing I hated is when I saw an old woman with her mother who was even older. I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's not fair. You got
yeah.
to keep her your whole life, and now you're
Oh,
sad that she's gonna die soon? Boo-hoo, you're 80. She's, 97."
yes, yes, yeah. You're definitely channeling some of my inner dialogue too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it can be a thing that's hard for us to sit with, but if we can give ourselves
Mhm.
this little bit of space and a place to put it, then it's less likely to jump out, in moments where, ooh, we wouldn't really want it to.
Mhm. This episode is brought to you by the Center for Emotional Education and Sacramento Reiki Center, where we support full time grievers every day. Many of our clients have tried everything and it still hasn't been enough. After our work together, they gain the tools and skills that they need to navigate their grief on their own. You can get more information at sacramentoreikicenter.com and centerforoemotionaleducation.com. Our next one are things you wish that had happened differently with their passing.
So specifically in how they passed, or things that happened immediately following, or maybe in the lead up, even like if you were maybe in an argument with them beforehand, or if you didn't get to spread their ashes like you wanted to, those kinds of things. What about for you, Selysa? Is that tapping one for you as an example?
I see in a lot of people that their guilt comes up here and they're wishing that they had been there at the exact moment of passing, even though it happened at 2 a.m. in the person's sleep. Them thinking that the doctors or paramedics did something wrong, even though the doctors did absolutely everything they could have based on the current research and their timing. So I see a lot of people having like some anger and resentment emotions that come up here, and
Yeah,
that comes out as like an if I had just, or if that person had just, that is wishing to happen differently, and that can be a really powerful way to acknowledge it and acknowledge the underlying emotion underneath that, of if it's anger or guilt, and then to work with that emotion in itself.
yeah. I'm so glad that you spent some time bringing people to that possibility. Yeah, I can really personally relate, and I think it was useful to for me to spend some time with those feelings, and some of them were like heavy resentment toward myself,
Mhm.
not just regret, which I still carry a fair amount of, but like this, like mad at me for what I did or didn't do, and that had a lot to do with things I wish had gone differently. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So both getting to sit with those feelings and getting to kind of like get out that part of the story in different ways. It's been really useful. Okay, so things you wish had happened differently with their passing. Good one. Well, this next one is probably something that you want to do over the course of time. And the idea with it is in part to support you to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself, but also just to kind of see what's happening, uh, and as a way to kind of make sense of it. So over time, if it feels right for you, we want to invite you to track your health. So, like, what's your sleep been like? How much food are you eating? Are you eating? Are you getting enough food? Are you getting enough water? Has your heart rate been elevated? Has your breath been constricted? Are you able to get some movement? Essentially, these kinds of categories of what's happening with your body, and then checking back in daily or weekly and updating that list.
I think also activity levels, if you're getting
Great.
enough
Yeah.
movement in.
Yeah. And so for me, for many weeks, it was, yep, a lot of time laying down today. Like
Mhm,
got out for a walk,
mhm,
heart rate back to normal, but chest still painful.
mhm,
Like got a little bit more sleep tonight,
mhm.
those kinds of, or last night, little bits of tracking.
Yeah. So our last one is things you wished you'd said to your loved one before they passed.
And this one's actually, I'm sure, appropriate at any time in the grieving process, but can be really poignant in this sort of earlier period where our feelings are really just so powerful, and our access to the loss is so direct and poignant. So to get to spend some time with things that we wish we had gotten to say at this place in particular, this time in particular, can be so just meaningful, really. Yeah.
So this can be unresolved emotions that you would like to settle towards them. This can be if you knew it was their last moment, this is what you would have said to them differently.
I did that. I did one like that. I also did one with this prompt at different points in our past, like kind of going back over places where, like, we didn't have very many fights at all. We didn't have fights. We had like some things really I wish I had done better. So I had a chance to like kind of go back to places in our past and write things I wish I had said in those moments too. And that was also quite powerful to do
Mhm.
using this same prompt. Okay. So again, this is part of a continuing series. Hopefully, these prompts gave you something useful to consider and to work with and to get out, and to give you a good place to put it. You can revisit these as often as is useful to you. You can write more about them. You can go deeper with them. However, it's right for you to engage with them. Maybe there was one that it wasn't right for you to do this time. You can come back later and do that one when it is right for you. And we also just want to thank you for giving yourself the time to explore and to track and to put down some of what's happening for you in your grieving process.
Yes, and thank you for taking time to grieve today.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks for listening to Full Time Grievers. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you find out when we release the next episode. If you have thoughts or questions about what we shared, please leave them in the comments below. And if this episode made you think of someone, we invite you to send it to them. They could probably use it. Also, don't forget to get your free Receiving Support While Grieving guide in the show notes below.